Have you ever promised yourself you'll change, only to wake up the next day doing the exact same things? You dream about success, a better body, a better career, a better life, but every morning comfort wins. This is the story of a young blacksmith named Ethan, who felt exactly the same way until one painful season forced him to change. In a peaceful village surrounded by green hills, sparkling rivers, and golden wheat fields, there lived a young blacksmith named Ethan. He was strong, clever, naturally gifted with the hammer and anvil. The villagers admired his talent. They often said Ethan could become the finest blacksmith in the land. But Ethan had a secret weakness. He was lazy, not weak, not stupid, just addicted to comfort. Every morning he woke up slowly, stretched, sipped his tea, and watched clouds drift across the sky. "I'll start properly tomorrow," he would whisper. "Next week I'll work seriously." And tomorrow never came. His workshop was filled with shining iron, heavy hammers, and half-finished tools. Plows for farmers, swords for guards, repairs for villagers, all waiting, orders piled up. But Ethan waited for a feeling. "I'll work when I feel ready." He loved imagining success more than building it. He pictured applause, respect, praise. But as the sun set each evening, he returned home with nothing completed. Dreams remained dreams. One morning, his best friend Daniel, a hardworking farmer, visited him. "Ethan," Daniel said gently, "you're talented. Why do you keep waiting? You could be great." Ethan shrugged. "I'll do it when I feel like it." Daniel's face tightened. "You're wasting your gift. One day you'll regret this. Dreams without action are just illusions." Ethan laughed it off. But that night, those words hurt. For the first time, doubt crept in. What if Daniel was right? Weeks passed. Villagers grew impatient. Farmers complained about broken plows. Guards grumbled about unfinished swords. Even children whispered when he walked by, "Why doesn't Ethan finish anything?" One afternoon, the village chief entered his workshop. "Ethan," he said firmly, "your laziness is hurting this village. If you do not change, you will lose your place here." The words struck like a hammer to his chest. That night, Ethan sat alone beside a half-forged sword. The moonlight reflected on cold iron. He whispered, "I want to be great, but I can't even make myself work." For the first time, he felt ashamed. Not because others judged him, but because he knew they were right. The next morning, something unexpected happened. A stranger arrived in the village. An older blacksmith named Samuel, known far and wide for his skill and discipline. Samuel had heard of Ethan's talent and his laziness. He visited the workshop. "I see potential here," Samuel said calmly. "But talent alone means nothing. Do you know the real secret?" Ethan shook his head. Samuel picked up the hammer. "Discipline. You must work even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it." He placed the hammer in Ethan's hand. "Start small. 5 minutes. Then 10. Show up every day. Motivation fades. Action builds strength." Ethan wasn't inspired. He wasn't excited. He was scared. Because deep down, he knew discipline would hurt. The first day was miserable. His arms felt heavy. His hands ached. His mind screamed, "Stop!" He worked for 5 minutes. Then 10. Then 30. By sunset, one small plow was finished. It wasn't perfect, but it was done. The next morning was worse. His old habits called him. "Rest. Watch the clouds. You deserve it." He almost gave in. Almost. But a quiet voice said, "Just show up." So he lifted the hammer again. Some days he hated the work. Some days he doubted himself. Some days he felt like quitting. But he kept showing up. Not because he felt motivated, but because he refused to be weak in his own eyes. Slowly, small victories appeared. A farmer smiled with gratitude. A polished sword gleamed in sunlight. Children stopped whispering. They watched in admiration. Weeks passed. Then months. The workshop changed. No more half-finished tools. No more excuses. Finished swords lined the walls. Sturdy plows filled the racks. Villagers from nearby towns began placing orders. Ethan was no longer the lazy dreamer. He was dependable, respected, disciplined. One evening, Samuel returned. He looked around the workshop and nodded. "Do you see the difference?" Ethan smiled. "Yes, it wasn't easy. Some days I hated it. Some days I wanted to quit. But I kept going." Samuel's eyes were calm. That is the power of discipline. Feelings are unreliable. Action is not. He leaned closer. Greatness isn't born from motivation. It's built from consistency. Ethan finally understood. He was never lazy because he lacked ability. He was lazy because he waited for feelings. Now he worked regardless of them. He had become stronger than his excuses. And that changed everything. You are not broken. You are not weak. You just need to take one small step. Then another. Action builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds character. And character builds a life you can be proud of. The road to greatness is not easy, but it is always available to those who choose discipline over comfort. If this story made you reflect on your own habits, share it with someone who needs a push. Subscribe for more powerful stories that challenge you to grow. See you in the next one.